Barely Balanced. This is episode 8. This is Shruti.
This is Vanshika.
This is Esha.
Okay, so it is my pleasure to introduce our guest for today, Esha Malhotra. Esha is a dynamic and multifaceted individual, and her journey is as inspiring as it is diverse. She recently graduated from Lady Shri Ram College for Women, popularly known as LSR. Isha has had the unique experience of studying at three different schools, including two prestigious boarding schools, the Lawrence School, Sanawar, and the Hopetown Girls School, Dehradun. She was also the student ambassador for the London School of Economics and Political Science, LSE, and has previously worked as a marketing intern at Times Internet.
Apart from her academic achievements, Aisha founded a fashion brand called Only Pherans. She is currently a business development manager at CleanMax. She is also a well-known figure on LinkedIn with an impressive 49,000 followers. So, hi Aisha, welcome to Barely Balanced. Would you like to say something to our audience?
Hi, guys. Thank you so much. That was such a lovely introduction, and it's so nice to be here. And I'm so excited to have you guys questioning me and talking all things about different aspects of my life. So, yeah, thank you.
Okay, all right. So we read that like the most fascinating thing about you was that you are from Kashmir. So it's called the heaven of the earth. So could you just tell us how's the place and what's the culture there like?
Hmm. This is something that I don't get often because not a lot of people do research and talk about my background. But I am a pure Kashmiri, and I take full pride in talking about um, how beautiful that place is, both physically, like the mountains, and it's a valley. But at the same time, I absolutely love the people. I've been to a lot of places. I've traveled a lot across India and even outside. Um, but I've never ever seen more hospitable, more caring, and people who'll actually go out of the way to help you, even if you're a stranger. So the kind of culture that you have there, I mean, I've not seen it anywhere else. So yeah, I'm really happy to be a Kashmiri.
So you have studied in three different boarding schools. So how did that work? Because two of your boarding schools were one was in Dehradun and one was in Sanawar, and that is a lot of difference. So how did you study there? How did you decide to go there, and what was the experience overall?
It's actually a very interesting question. For the first 8 years of my life, I've studied in Kashmir, in a school called DPS, which I think everybody knows, Delhi Public School. And I was honestly doing pretty well there. However, because of certain circumstances pertaining to the state, my parents decided that I should, go to a boarding school. And Hopetown was at that time really, really generous in taking me in between a session. So yeah, I went there in grade 8. It was an ICSE school, so shifting from a CBSE to an ICSE was a huge shift for me, because the kind of there was a huge learning curve, I'd say, that I had in the initial year that I joined. Number one, because I had never been to a boarding school, so I was also learning how to adjust with people. I also wanted to really excel there, and coming from a day boarding to a boarding school, uh, it takes a toll on your mental health as well. And academically also, you really need to push hard, especially because when you're switching both, CBSE is a piece of cake, right? While as ICSE, you really need to work hard. So yeah, I think there was a transition there. And then 8th, 9th, 10th, I did from Hopetown, which was, of course, an ICSE. And then I switched. I thought, because what usually happens is when you're switching and you want to think a little more ahead, the reason why I switched was that I don't want to do so much of efforts in pursuing an ICSE curriculum, because if I switch to a CBSE, I think I will score better. and get a better college, because at that time we didn't have CUET and we don't have these competitive exams. Everything is based on your board exams. So the only thinking behind actually switching schools was I'll get a better percentage in grade 12th from CBSE school rather than an ICSE school. But funnily, once I switched, board results came out for grade 10th and I topped, and my parents then were questioning me, are you topped? Why did you overthink so much? But yeah, I think I just had to live with consequences. But I was really happy that I went to a co-ed school this time. So Hopetown was an all-girls school, and Sanawar was a co-ed curriculum. So I think, yeah, I got to learn a lot, especially once you're actually stepping out in the world after school. It is really important to interact with the opposite gender to understand how they perceive things, and really be comfortable before you actually step into the real world. So yeah, I think I was very lucky, and it was a good shift. It proved to be a good shift. So yeah.
Okay. Is there any funny story related to the boarding schools? Like I've heard a lot about hostels there that people do this and like you're sleeping and they'll record you and then post it on the
That's
WhatsApp group.
right. So we have this tradition. This happened in Hopetown. We have this tradition where, so our maids usually wake us up. We have Baijis who wake us up every morning to, go for PT and then go for classes and all of that. So I remember this one time, it's a tradition where Baijis don't come to wake you, your seniors come and wake you up. So, and you're so embarrassed because you don't know when it's going to happen, right? So our seniors came, and all of us were in very like cutesy pajamas. Like now I call them cute, but that time I felt really embarrassed. Oh, like my seniors are looking at me when I'm wearing these pajamas. And yeah, there's another incident. So we used to have earthquake drills, which is very funny. But so in the middle of the night, they'll just start with this drill. They'll have this alarm that'll go on, and you have to rush and evacuate to an open area. And for the first time, I don't know what was happening. Because I wasn't aware of this, right? And I'm just like, what's happening? What's going on? Have you seen that Jab We Met scene where they're just running from like police? And I genuinely thought something's up like that. And I'm like, I don't know where have I come. And then and nobody's answering, right? Because everybody's like running. Because sometimes you don't know if it's actually a real thing happening, like if it's a real earthquake happening or if it's a drill. And God, I was so scared for the first time that it happened. And then I eventually got used to it. So yeah, not funny, but yeah, like really interesting things.
Okay.
Right. So can you now tell us more about Only Pherans? From where did you get the idea? Why did you start it? The vision behind starting it, and the team you're building currently?
So just a heads up, Only Pherans is actually on the back burner now. Mostly because, I started with placements in college, and then of course I got a job, and now I'm doing a full-time job. So that's on the back burner. But when I started Only Pherans was during COVID. The idea behind starting Only Pherans was because I had seen a lot of my friends, back in Kashmir struggle a lot because, like I said, Only Pherans, I think we were discussing this before, how Pherans are these loose garments that you have and which can be worn across ages and across genders. So something that all of my friends were facing is there was no standardization of sizes, right? How we have small, medium, large, and everything. There is no small, medium, large, and Pherans. There's just one size fit all, right? So I think that really, I think I saw that as an opportunity, and I thought, why not standardized Pherans and sort of then create different variations of it, different designs. And I think that's how Only Pherans was born.
How do you get so much of time to manage everything? Because you're also technically working, but previously when you were in LSR, you were doing so many things. As you said before the meet as well, that you should actually have your hands on everything. So how
Yeah.
do you manage your time, and explain it to us? Because time management is something which I think most of the people lack at.
So I think time management is something that even I struggle with even today. It's very difficult for me to sort of figure out what's more important and what's not. But something that I do purposely is write all my tasks that I have to do in a day, and then sort of mark, okay, this is number one, this is number two. And I try finishing the tasks which are more difficult very early on, because I know by the end of the day I get tired and I want to do more easy work and get done with it. Other than that, I think just doing things that you're really passionate about, that, like how Anshika was saying, that she's into this and that and this and that. While you are at it, figure out if these are things that you actually want to pursue further, right? A lot of times, I remember I was doing an internship in college very early on, and उस वक्त ऐसा भूत चढ़ा हुआ था internships का, right? Everybody was like behind internships, and I was lucky enough to have one. But very soon I realized that this was something that wasn't really interesting, and this is something that I don't want to do in future. And it was just repetitive work. So I was like, even though they were paying really well, like people were envious of me getting that internships, and people were struggling to get an internship that time. I said no, like I'd better not do it rather than wasting my energy into it. A lot of people think about कि अरे यार अभी चल रही है तो चलने दो, अच्छी है internship या अच्छी है ये job. I'm very quick in that thing. I don't want to waste my energy into something that I don't like. I'd rather use it. I won't sit idle, so I'd rather do something else. If not an internship, maybe I don't know, writing on LinkedIn. I think that's how I actually started writing on LinkedIn. So yeah, I think good things come when you actually cut off yourself from things that you might not like.
Okay, the next question. So you have been to LSE. So first
Yeah.
of all, tell us what a summer school is and why should someone consider joining one?
Um, what is a summer school? It's this short program that you do a a campus or a university that you would want to go to, right, in future, or you want to have an experience of. So when I wanted to start my undergrad, my parents, especially my mom, was very pushy in sending me abroad. But I didn't feel the need of going at least for undergrad outside. So I thought, why not do a summer school in between, my college life, to understand what the abroad life looks like. So it's just a taste of what that life looks like. And I just wanted to experience, a lot of my friends went outside. They used to pictures and stories, and of course it does have a negative impact on you, because you've chosen to stay in India when your parents were ready to send you abroad. So yeah, I think I just wanted a taste of that life, and I also wanted to network a lot. Who should go? People who really want to network. When is the right time? There is no right time to go to a summer school, but I would honestly say, whenever you go, try and choose a course that really excites you. It's not boring. It's not like, oh, I just want to do it for the CV sake. If something that's really interesting and you want to see what this particular field looks like, go for it. I've seen people who've come from theater background doing law because they just wanted to, try law out. And they just wanted a taste of it. So summer school is that area, or sorry, that way of sort of experiencing that life. Yeah. Plus, if you have a lot of money to spend, might as well just go there. Yeah. My entire purpose of going there was to sort of experience that life and figure out if I want to come and settle here someday, or if I want to come here for masters. So, yeah.
And how did you come up with the conclusion that you want to go to LSE? Why not any other summer school? Why
That's right.
just
I think
NSR?
I get this question a lot. Why not, any other school? So I actually was looking at a couple of different summer schools. There's an Oxford summer school that happens. There's an LSE summer school. There are a lot of summer schools that take place. Some are also within India. So Ashoka also comes out with this program sort of a thing. So I was looking at a couple of them, and then as I narrowed it down, I knew I wanted to go to UK to experience summer school. So India summer schools were out of question, and then in UK I narrowed it down to LSE and Oxford summer school. LSE was almost the same amount that I had to spend for both of them, but LSE was one for a longer duration, and number two, it was in the heart of London. And from like the beginning, I've always wanted to stay in London and experience London as a city. So I think I was just like biased towards LSE. Yeah.
All right. So as you said that, if you have a lot of money to spend, only then consider going to a summer school.
No, there are scholarships as well. Um,
Yeah,
but
coming
yeah.
upon that, so how can someone get ahead with a
Hmm.
scholarship there? Like, what is the rate of scholarships there? How much do you get?
Right.
What percentage of people?
Scholarships is something that I'm not really confident in talking about because number one, I didn't really take scholarship to go there. And also, I feel scholarships are really competitive. To answer your question, when I was in LSE, we were about, I think, 2,000 to 3,000 kids, and only 13 of us across courses, across, basically the entire summer school experience. There were 13 people who actually got it. So imagine like 3,000 people, and only 13 of them are actually, applying for are scholarship students. So of course it is very competitive. But at the same time, I wouldn't say that don't apply for scholarships. It is something that I have, thought about even now. If I want to go for a summer school again, I will definitely try for scholarships. You should always try your hand at it, but just be prepared that it's very competitive, and you need to whatever. And it's also very subjective. So a particular scholarship, you can only apply through that particular scholarship, you can only apply to a particular course. So the course that I was applying for, it didn't have any scholarships. So then it restricts you to the courses that you can select, and also that you really need to show that you have precedence in, that particular field. So let's say if you have you want a scholarship for environmental law. So you will have to show precedence that, you really care about the environment, you've done this, you've done that, you have to show certifications, you have to show genuine interest. So yeah.
And how much time does it take to join and the application process? How long does it take to apply and actually go there?
So usually, all these summer schools, their applications open near Thanksgiving, their Thanksgiving this thing, which is approximately October, November. And then you can of course apply as soon as possible, because the application fee is also a little on the higher end. So you apply, you have to, and the application process also takes time, right? Because you have to go back and forth, check certain documents, then fill out details, and attach certain documents. So I can only say this for LSE because by the end of it, I only applied to LSE and not any other summer school. So what happens in LSE is you have an application fee, and you have an application form that you need to submit. Now, this form is really lengthy, and it's the only thing that they ask from a student. A lot of summer schools, what happens is they have a series of things that are happening. They could have an interview, then they have a business round, then they have this, then they have that. So there are a lot of rounds that take place, and they're eliminative in nature. While as for LSE, it's just an application form, which is very, very long, right? Because it's the only thing that you're submitting. So yeah, there is that. And then you have to wait for, I think, 15 to 20 days before you hear from them. You either get selected or you get rejected. And then, of course, you go on actually pay the fee and book an accommodation. And yeah, and then you can choose what course you want, what this thing you want, different things. Yeah.
Okay, that was pretty comprehensive. Moving ahead, we all know that you are so famous on LinkedIn. You have around 49,000 plus followers. So I just wanted to ask, how did you actually decided to start writing on LinkedIn? What motivated you to start on LinkedIn?
Funny story, but my father used to push me to write on LinkedIn since ages. Like since I was in 10th grade, he used to be like, Arey, you should write on LinkedIn or you should be active on LinkedIn. It's the place to be and blah, blah, blah. And I've always seen my dad, whenever he speaks something and he pushes me to do something, I will never do it. I will never ever do it. And which is exactly what happened. I did create a LinkedIn account because he was so pushy about it. But I never was active on LinkedIn. It was just there for the sake of it. And so much so that I'd forgotten the password also. I mean, I'd created an account and forgotten the password. And yeah, I was just there, right? And then, so the thing about me is I keep writing in my notes app a lot. So a friend suggested, she's like, oh, you write so well and you keep writing in a notes app, might as well just share it out on a platform. And I didn't want to share it out on Instagram because I already felt there were so many people out there who were sharing things, and these were not things that I wanted to share on a platform like LinkedIn. A platform like Instagram. So then I thought, okay, LinkedIn ka account hai, and people create content, so might as well just try. And then once you get that, I won't say addiction, but एक ऐसा चस्का लग जाता है, of likes and of comments, and you want to go back and you're like, oh shit, how many likes did I get? How many comments did I get? So for the initial like 6-7 months, those likes and those comments actually motivated me to write more. And keep many people have started following me. These many people have started following me. Of course, like at this point of time, I'm excited, like I'm about to hit a 50,000 mark. But overall, it's just a number for me now. The excitement only lasts for like 6-7 months when you're like, shit, so many people followed me. Oh, 1,000 followers, 2,000 followers, and like these many likes. Oh, my post went viral. Now it's just like, okay, alright, whatever's happening. Numbers don't matter anymore. Now it's just like, am I really writing content which people like, or which I like for that matter? Yeah.
It's so true. Like I've been writing on LinkedIn since the past 6-7 months now, and for the
Yeah.
first 4 months, I was really excited that I'm getting these many likes, these many comments, and these many people are following me. But then later on, I was like, okay, theek hai, the numbers are just increasing, but there's no validation coming from it to me now. But
Yeah.
when my college started, people around me were like, "Oh my God, you have 4,000 followers.
That's
You're
right.
going to be like the next superstar, the next LinkedIn influencer."
Yeah.
And I was like, come on, it's just 4,000 and you can easily write there and start getting followers. Like, I don't know. And they're like, no, it's not easy to write there every day. The consistency that you guys have, it's not that easy. And so it
I'm
feels
sure.
big.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. And trust me, more than just like the amount of followers that I have and the likes I get or the comments I get, it's just when people come to me, upfront and be like, oh, like even people at work, like they come to me and they're like, hey, you write so well. And I'm like so happy. And they'll come and share thoughts about something that I might have written recently. And I'll just be like, that's something like a very interesting take on things. And just that, like having conversations about the content I put out and just people coming up to me and saying, hey, like I really like your content. It makes my whole day. Like I love come up to me and they're like, oh, I love your content, or just anything. Like I really, really, it makes my day.
So how has content creation helped you in your journey? Like, what are the opportunities that came your way because you started writing on LinkedIn?
Um, okay, so there are two kinds of opportunities that have opened up for me. One is, of course, monetary opportunities where you do sponsored posts where you basically write for people. I've also been, asked by a lot of agencies to join their company. So you always have that financially, you can always join a company which is paying you well, paying you per post, and then of course you can always post on your own platform and then also get paid. So that's the monetary bit of it. But this is something that I have personally over the past 2-3 months. I've tried getting it down. In the sense that a lot of these posts that they tell you to write about are some things that don't sit well with me. So I'm not sure if you guys know a lot of things that happened very recently, HR based. People come to influencers or creators like us, and they say like, oh, please write about it and you'll get paid for it. So, but things that don't sit well with me is I've started saying no to it. So, of course, the more you say no, the less opportunities you get. But I'm okay getting less opportunities. But I'm not okay with, doing things that don't sit well with me and hence don't sit well with my audience. But the kind of opportunities that have opened up from LinkedIn, the one that I personally like is connecting with people. You get called for meetups, you get to meet a lot of people, you get to connect with like really different people and from different walks of life, which is absolutely amazing. And even if you're not connecting with them on a personal level, you can connect with them on something that you might have written, right? I remember I wrote about how I miss ghar ka khana, living away from home. And somebody, I'm not going to name their designation or their name, but somebody at a very high position in like one of these big fours, they like reached out to me and they said, hey, this is something I've dealt with all throughout my life. And that's how we connected. And, now we've changed numbers and we're on text all the time. So that's something that, that's a benefit that I never thought I could have. And that's something that I never thought I could do. Like I could not connect with like such huge positions, CEOs, founders. So I get to meet those people and I get to talk with them and I sort of relate to them at some level, if not entirely. So yeah, that's something. And plus, I think very funny, but especially when you're creating content, like when I was a college student, I was called as a judge to another college. Uh, so the kind of opportunities that you get while being at like such a young age is marvelous. So yeah.
Okay, so moving ahead, how can someone monetize their social media, be it Pinterest, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, anything?
Honestly, earlier I used to say, wait for the opportunity, they'll come and reach out to you. But if there's like a particular brand that you want to work out with, reach out to the HR, reach out to a couple of people and say that, hey, I've been looking at you collaborating with XYZ people. I'd love to collaborate with you. And there, instead of waiting for them to reach out to you and you're waiting कि अरे यार वो reach out नहीं कर रहे हैं or they're not like looking for a collaboration, why don't you reach out to them? I think that's the best way, and just tell them that these are the impressions, these are my last week impressions, or look at my reels, they're doing so well, look at the reach that I have there. So of course have like a few stats to back your collaboration efforts, but at the same time be very confident in like whatever you have to offer. So yeah, like rather than waiting for them to reach out to you, I think you should reach out to them.
Could you give 3 book recommendations to the listeners?
3 book recommendations. Anything Khalid Hosseini. The Ultimate Gift. It's by Jim Conval. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's the author. And one more book, City of Girls. Yeah, it's a fat book. It took me my whole college life to finish because I was, of course, doing a lot of things. But it's a really nice book. Yeah.
I've read all of
I
the three books by Khalid Hosseini, The Kite Runner, The Thousand Splendid Suns, and The Mountain's Echo. Like, I have all of
Which one's
three
your
of them
favorite?
at my home.
Which one's your favorite?
My favorite is And the Thousand Splendid Suns.
Mine is
Which
Kite
one
Runner.
is yours?
Same.
Ah, Kite
Kite
Runner,
Runner.
even that story is good. Like,
I
I
think
started
Khalid
reading through
really writes.
Khalid
You can
Hosseini's
read
books.
it's so good. Like I really, really like every time I finish a book, it takes me good 3 to 4 days to like just get over the book and get over myself.
What do you think? How will your friends describe you if they had to describe you in just three words? How are you from their perspective? Fun question, right?
Yeah. And I didn't read this before. Um, okay. I think my friends would, yeah. I think they'd say I'm thoughtful. They say I'm fun to be around, hopefully, and I'm not judgmental. That's something that I've gotten from a lot of people.
The last question, the concluding one. What is one piece of advice you would like to give anyone, like a first year undergrad student?
Something that I wish people would have told me if I just started my college is just relax. Don't get into the peer pressure of internships and jobs and societies and freelancing and money and LinkedIn. Chill. These are the only 3 years in your life where you can do whatever the hell you want to, dress however the hell you want to, click as many pictures and post as many pictures as you want to, and people will not judge you for it. Because I've genuinely seen people saying, "Arey yaar, college mein hai, karne do." So I really hope you take this college hai karne do seriously. Do whatever the hell you want to do and relax. You will get an internship, you will get a job. Don't get into the peer pressure. Yeah, and just try figuring out life while you're at it.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so this brings us to the conclusion. It was lovely talking to you, Esha. We hope that you all found it very valuable, and if you liked it, please do share. And if you have something to ask, you can just write it in the comment box, and we'll love to take up those questions next time. And please hit the like button and share it with your friends. Okay, bye bye.